This actually ticks me off. So last game, most important game of the year, right? Obviously. Our defense gave up a couple big plays. Big play at the end of the game. Big play to Mims, 50 yards down the field. But for the most part, listen, they did their job, right? Did a pretty damn good job. Held their own. And I give them all the credit for that. But going back and looking at the snap count from last week's game, why did Momad Jungmita have 0 snaps? He actually had a really great play on special teams, which you gotta love him for that. And again, like I've always said when it comes to this, I'm not expecting them to give him 50 snaps a game. I'm not expecting them to make him a starter. Obviously, I understand, he's undrafted. He's still developing. He's still learning. He's still getting better. He's not at a point right now at this moment in time where he is the best of the best player out there, okay? I understand that. I'm not asking for 50 snaps. But I want to at least see above 10% snap count. So that would put him in the snap count of roughly 8 to 9 snaps a game on defense. And I feel like you utilize him in some way on 8 to 9 snaps on defense, you're going to be a lot more successful because he does have some talent. He does have some hidden potential. And obviously, right now, we're looking toward the potential playoffs, right? I think we will make the playoffs, but we have to keep that in mind. It is potential right now. The Dolphins still have to lose, the Broncos have to lose, and we have to win. But even with that being said, we are still focused on next year as well. And you got to get these guys some snaps. You got to get these guys out there to see what they can give you and maybe see if they're your future, right? I get it. At the end of the day, it worked out. We won the game. Our defense, for the most part, did decent. Again, like I said, they also got ran all over. So it was kind of a mixed bag, right? But again, I need him to get some more snaps. Come on, Lou. Just give him, again, 7 to 8 snaps a game. That's all we're asking. 7 to 8 snaps a game, and I will be 100% happy with that. With that being said, we also have Von Bell, who had a season high, it feels like, but it's really been a season high since week 11 when he got, kind of demoted in snap counts at 18 snaps. Jordan Battle at 53 snaps. Going back up to the very top here, Chase Brown obviously gets injured in this game, which they have to go toward Khalil Herbert because of that. Khalil Herbert has 18 snaps in the end, all of them coming very end of the game. Jermaine Burton, again, gets 5 snaps, and I feel like they just gave up on him. I really am starting to feel like that, because Isaiah Williams now is our punt returner, and obviously that's because Chuck Sizzle's out, obviously, but he is our kick returner, Jermaine Burton, which is cool. But I just feel like they gave up on him completely on offense. And it's funny because this is the time right now when you would be wanting to utilize him more because, again, this is where you want to start to develop and look at some guys for potentially the future. And I feel like they just, nah. It's not worth it to put him out there because they don't want to, it's just a waste of a, 11 man on the field because they'd rather have a couple tight ends out there and, actually utilize that more than utilize Jermaine Burton. I mean, it's so bad that we see down here Isaiah Williams on some games is out snapping him. Actually week 13 he out snapped him. Week 14 it was 9 versus 4. 3 versus 0, 6 versus 3, and 5 versus 4. So he didn't out-snap him in one game. That's how, to a point where it's we got an undrafted dude from the Lions, who the Lions cut, and now we made him, we picked him up as a wide receiver. He's on the active roster the last, 5 weeks of the season, and he's getting more snaps than a third-round draft pick who was supposed to be a highly scouted player from Alabama. So, I guess that's how that all shakes out. Tanner McLaughlin did have 2 snaps last week, which again I really like to see. I like to see him out there, see what we have in him, and see how he can develop. Cam Grandy is still getting crazy amount of snaps. He's pretty much getting the snap count that would go to Eric All if Eric All was healthy. Cam Grandy is just a knockoff Temu, Wish.com Eric All. And if Eric All was healthy, he would be getting no snaps and he would be the guy. But obviously, sadly, he is, hurt. Mike Gesicki, 57% of the snap count. He did a lot. He did a lot last week. Very proud of him overall across the board. Myles Murphy did have 40% of the snap count last week. Cedric Johnson had 18%. So, having not a season high, because week 4 was his season high, but having a, still really good week. Very happy for him. Very proud of him. Third most snaps of the season and had a sack in a very critical situation. You got to love that. You got to love to see him go out there and play some great football. Poison Ivy did have 7% of the snaps last week. So, again, and then you have Anthony, who also not really getting any snaps as well. But again, like I said, this is kind of the evaluation time period, but you are also fighting for a playoff spot. So we're kind of in that weird mix right now where it's like we want to get a playoffs, right? But again, things have to go our way. But also you're also fighting in a weird situation because you also do want to evaluate next year. And you don't want to put someone out there who you feel isn't going to help you, right now to get you to those playoffs. But you also got to look at the fact that, again, maybe not saying a lot of snaps, but seeing some snaps in some players, you got to just see them out there to see what they can do and what they can give you, because you got to figure out next year as well. So we're kind of in that gray area right now. But tell me down below your thoughts, opinions. See you guys next one. Peace.